Okay, and I think we're good. I'm gonna double check. Make sure we're actually live real quick. Just to see. There we go. Now we're in here real quick. Dope. Dope. It's been like a year since I've done streaming whatsoever. So here we are. Let's see. Gotta let people know the stream is going up. Gotta post that in my story real quick. Come watch me fail to make video games. Making games. Dude, I'm the worst at making stories. At Michael Hall. Cool. Let's get into this. Let's make sure it's updating. So what I got right now is I got this base of a game going. We've got, let's move over to it real quick. We've got some rotating backgrounds. That's about it. And some gravity. We need to do some other stuff though, because it's not quite good yet. But yeah, what I'd like to do is just some jumping and then spawn some projectiles. Just your basic infinite runner. Real simple. Real simple. I copied and pasted some stuff from some other projects, so we're gonna get into this. Okay, right now I need to set it up. So we jump. Get key. I'll probably do button. Just saying, if we get the jump button, we're gonna actually jump. Hypothetically. Remember the code for this. Yeah. Okay. RB.velocity. This is like the speed of our guy. We'll do plus equals vector 2 dot, no, not all that garbage. Vector 2 dot up, which is essentially just the up property, the direction we're going. So we're going up, and then we're going times our jump speed. We're just gonna put our jump speed right here. I haven't actually set jump speed, but I'm assuming it's, we're gonna want to range for it. We're just gonna assume 0 to 500. It's gonna be somewhere between 0 and 500. I don't know what any of that means yet. We'll just have to see. And if we go into our game, go to our player here, and in our jump property we got a little slider now, and we'll do, I don't know, we'll just do 50 for now. I have no idea how much of a jump. Wow, that's fucking a lot of a jump. It just jolts up there real quick. Okay. Let's mess around with some gravity while we're here. We're gonna need some like good gravity. I might have to like hard program that in. Yeah, props. Okay, that's annoying. That's fine. The other thing we want to is, instead of can jump, let's do, or excuse me, instead of can move, let's do can jump. And if our player jumps once, then we don't want them to be able to jump again. So let's only allow them to jump when they can jump. Seems pretty straightforward, but we gotta specify. And then to determine whether we can jump again, I'm gonna actually do some raycasting, which is like a gross technique to determine whether something is under you. But it's what I've used in the past, and it's what we'll use right now. B.position vector 2 dot down times transform. Is that right? Yeah, local scale. I think this is right. Yeah, local scale dot x times our circle collider. It's radius plus. Oh, I need an offset. I totally forgot about an offset. Let's just put that down here. Public float detection down offset. Cool. Yeah, we need an offset. It's basically like where, when you're raycasting, you're essentially drawing a line. So the line, if something is intersecting with that line, is what the raycast is checking. So it's drawing a line from the radius down plus a certain distance. So you'll actually like start the next jump a little bit. You won't fully get to the ground beforehand. That's why you want a little bit of an offset, make it feel more natural. Because if you have to wait for the whole, because like the sprite in this scene, if you have to wait for this whole radius to go down, that's a little bit annoying. Like the bottom of the wheels are here. It just makes it feel a little better. It's like a game feel thing. If there's a bit of it's really small. It's like the smallest offset ever, but game feels important, so we should adhere to that and keep that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do if xud dot raycast, that one. Start raycast, that one. Start vector 2 dot down. And then our, I think I'm missing something here. Distance. What am I thinking of? I feel like I can just use the offset. Yeah, I can just use the offset. That's fine. I was looking through my notes and I was like, do I have to do that? I don't think so. And then we're going to say can jump equals true because hello? It's freaking out on me. Can jump equals true. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And then if we've jumped, can jump equals false after we've applied physics. So this is just can jump equals true. Okay. This should be right. No, it's not right. Something has happened. I think I'm gonna switch to integers. Can jump equals 1. I switch to integers sometimes because it processes a little faster than a Boolean. I don't know why. It's just when dealing with physics. Oh no. It's actually not. Wow. Okay. Can jump equals 1. Can jump still equals 1. If can jump equals 1, and we get, I think I need button down. That's probably it. I think it does matter. No? Oh no, wait, it did. Oh, it's working. Oh yeah, it's totally working. Oh, never mind. Huh. That's weird. Not sure what's going on with that. Let me double check my code. I might have had like a easy error. Let me like swap that. Not that that matters. Can jump equals 1. Oh, I don't have an offset right now. That's what's wrong. I need, because right now I have a 0 offset. That's probably, no, it's still doing it. Huh. That's really weird. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Huh. It's like 0.01f. That is so weird. It doesn't seem like it changes this at all, because normally I'd see that change to a 0 right here. But that's not changing. It's probably like something really obvious and I just can't see it. It's generally how that goes. If I'm grounded, do the jump. That is very interesting. I have no idea what's going on there. Huh. My first puzzle of the day. Fixed update. If can jump equals 1. If you hit the button, it's 0. Let's print. Let's print can jumps value before and after, just to see if it actually changes. Print can jump dot toString. This should print us some numbers. We'll basically shoot it into the console, and it'll give us some numbers. So we'll do a before and after on that, and it should pop up in the bottom. Should. Okay. 0. Let's see, it's 0 here, and it's still jumping. Yeah, it changes a lot. Let's do... At start, we said can jump equals 1. If can jump equals 1. Allow us to hit the jump button. And if we hit the jump button, you can no longer jump. And it shoots you up. So it does this. But I think the ray casting is possibly what's going on right here. Local scale. The scale of the transform relative to the parent. Okay. Let's see, do I have any resizing? I do have some resizing. So I think this is a matter of our detection offset. Let's see if changing this does affect what's going on. No, we're still colliding. Interesting. I could just go to a simpler method at this point. That might not be terrible because I do have... I can stop doing raycasting. Let's skip the raycasting for a second. Ignoring raycasting, let's use Unity's basic system. Let's do on collision enter 2D. I think it's collision. Yeah, there it is. Collision 2D. We'll call it other. That's what I always call it. Okay. If honestly, it'll just be on a collision. If tag, let's say, what are my tags? Car. Car will be the name of our enemy. So if other.tag or if other.gameObject.tag, sorry, equals car. I think that's how I spelled it, is with the lowercase. Yeah. Let's say if it doesn't equal car, then we're grounded. Then can jump equals 1. So it'll collide with the floor here, like it has been, and then it'll reset. Let's see if that's the case here. Whoa. I'm jumping funky. No, it still resets it. Oh, you know what? It's probably colliding with the top one here, because I think on this scene, yeah, I have a top border. Let's remove the top border, because we don't actually need it in this scene. Let's see if that changes it. Whoa. He's flipping out. Oh, good. Doing like basic jumping is always like the hardest part. Like, why? Okay, let's make the jump like 2. Drastically lower than 50. Oh, there's like a little baby jump. That's a baby jump. Oh yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. Definitely better. And let's see if that does a little better too. Because there's some input delay. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, it's perfect. That's great. Yeah, don't have your jump set to 50 and you'll be fine. That looks so much better. Yup. Yup. Okay, sick. And we still have our, this is what's nice about this, is that I didn't, normally by changing the velocity, like you normally, this is what's good about adding it instead of making it equal to a certain amount, is because if you just add to the velocity, it does exponentially increase the amount that you're going up. However, I'm only doing it once, so it's not that big of a deal. But if I set it directly equal to it, then I don't get to use Unity's physics properties, which are really neat, which I actually really like. So I'm going to set up a new folder. We're going to do physics properties. If I can spell. I'm just gonna say F properties, because whatever. Physics properties. There we go. I can spell. Create physics material 2D, because we're working in Unity's 2D system, and we're gonna call this player. We'll call this Michael, because I'm making this game for Michael. Michael player, and this is gonna determine his friction and his bounciness. And this is some nice things that Unity has built in for us. So it'll essentially like calculate the bounciness for us. And we do want some bounciness. I don't know how much though, because I haven't messed with this too much. I don't know how much friction we want. I don't know if we want a lot of friction. If we have like a lot of bounciness, like here's a bounciness of 1, where we'll just constantly bounce, which I don't want. We don't want to be Flappy Bird. Don't want that. Let's say half of that and see where that leaves us. Oh, that's not too bad. And there's a little bit of a bounce there too. Oh, nice. Okay. And the other thing that we want to is on collision exit, which is literally the same as on collision enter, except it does the exact opposite, and it's just titled a little bit differently. So we'll do exit. Should be commenting my code here in a second, which I'll do. This just makes it so if we exit something and we bounce, we can't jump again, because we don't want people jumping mid-bounce. That's kind of we want them jumping once they collide with the thing, not in the air. I don't want them to jump like there when they're in the air, because that could be bad. But yeah, the bouncing definitely feels good. I do enjoy the bouncing. Let's make that a little more satisfying. We can add a particle effect that we can spawn. So we'll do, there we go, effects particle system. This is the default, and we're going to do some changes here. Let's make it a spear, because we're going to want it to instantiate kind of like that. And then always make the speed super slow, and then you really get to see how many of them there are, and we'll do a max of like 15, say that. And really we want it to burst, so Unity has a function for that as well that we can add in there. Then lifetime, we're going to change our lifetime and duration to 1. Let's turn looping off so we can see how it's actually bursting. Boop. Just a little bit of a boop. Okay. Let's get the shape back out, because I don't want it to emit everywhere. I kind of want it to emit in a kind of closed environment. We're going to keep enclosing that. This is going to change, we're going to need to change our speed again. Smaller speed. And then particle size, start size, there we go. No, there we go, start size, which is we're going to do half of what we just saw. Kind of looks like that. Poof, poof. Or we could do the same size, but even slower speed. Just kind of like an air bubble. I don't know if I like it that much, though. I'm not crazy about that. Number of particles to emit, 30. Cycles. How many times emit the burst? So we could do 3. Let's see that. So boom, boom, boom. No. Rate over time, 30. Something we can do to make this, we could do color over lifetime. This is something we can do to make particles look like a lot better. So if we go to the opacity of the particle over time, it'll kind of fade out like that. Sort of makes it look less choppy. Now it looks like a real smoke ball. I might want it even a little more. Changes the lifetime, but makes it just a bit stronger. This is the point where it'll be actually 0. Here's a point where it's like 20, and here's points where it's like 70. Boom. Whew. That looks good. Make their lifetime shorter. Even shorter, I know. Because we really want it to be like a impact, like the impact of a bouncy ball. If a bouncy ball were to leave trails. Okay, we got our start size. Might even want some more speed now that we're kind of bouncing around. And we'll do simulation space world. What this does is essentially if, say, if we're moving like this, the trail goes like that. The trail will actually follow the player and where we're going. That's cool. I do enjoy that. This Twitch link out. Cool. Alright. You always gotta just keep messing with these particles until they're the way you want, which is annoying and can be difficult. I wish there was like a good direction that we could make these emit from. Like if they always went down or always went one. Positive amount. Remap. Yeah, I might want. I haven't messed with any of this before actually, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it goes up and around. That's where I like. I don't think I'm gonna get it from noise. Yeah, I'm not sure. I watched my friend who's really good at these. He did like a really sick like impact on a wall once. Or it's just kind of like a bump particle. Like a boom, boom, boom. Start lifetime 2.5. Let's do 2.5. Dunk, dunk. Start speed. Let's do 1. Now that we've... It's looking a little better. Oh yeah, that's really getting like a pop now. I like that. That's what I'm going for, is like a pop. Like a big pop. Okay. I don't know, let's just see a little more speed and see what that's like. That's like a big pop. That's like an explosion. I don't want that. I just want like a little pop. Let's see 2.5. Nah, I think 2 is the best one. Even that's just so much. Let's use some shape and see if we can... That way we can probably do like a hemisphere and make it emit. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. That's so good. That's wicked good. Okay. I like that a lot. Cool. So this will be our fall particle. Or bump particle. Let's say that. Bump particle. Bump particle. And then we need to make a prefabs folder for this game. I'm actually making this game inside of another game, which is bad best practices, but it's fine. I'm super lazy, so. Alright, and then we're gonna want to make a script. Let me just make sure I don't already have that. I don't. Okay, good. I'm gonna make a script that's just gonna be like destroy on X seconds. This is a good script in general, just to have in your projects, because some things just aren't going to stay alive on screen for long periods of time. This is just the easiest way. You just make a float. It's called lifetime. And then you can just do... that doesn't really need to be public. Private enumerator. Time till death. Which sounds really grim. Sounds super grim. It's very grim. Turn you wait for a second, and then destroy game object. Okay. This destroys the actual object that this script is attached to. This is just a time bomb, essentially. We've coded a time bomb for our object. And we call it at the start. So once it's actually in the scene, then we just spawn it. So in our player behavior, we can just spawn the particle with this attached to it, and then the particle will just get destroyed over time. And we can set this to whatever we want, so put lifetime in here. So whatever it is in here, we just wait and then it's destroyed, which is really easy. Yeah, that's about it on that. And we can just add it here, and it has a lifetime of 0.25 seconds, so we'll just give it like 1 second to destroy itself. Right? That's how long it has? Yeah, 0.25 seconds for its lifetime. So, it's pretty good. And now, let's make sure, let me double check real quick, make sure everything is, yep, play on awake, we're good. And now in our player, we're going to go to player behavior, oh, wrong one, fakey player behavior. And we're going to make, in our feedback properties, we're going to do public game object, nope, wrong one, game object, bump particle. And then every time we collide with something that isn't the car, we'll instantiate a new one. So instantiate creates an object, essentially. So we'll make an object. First we'll make an object, then we'll say where it's supposed to be, and then we'll say its rotation. So the object we want is the bump particle. and the middle is the transform of the player, which should be on this, so it's just transform.position. Transform.position, and then this one is quaternion identity. And quaternion identity is 0, 0, 0 for rotation. So every time we collide with something that isn't the car, we will spawn one of these. But we need to make sure we actually have it set up, because if we don't, we're spawning nothing, and the computer would get very angry with me. And that's not good. So here's our bump particle, we're just going to drag that right in there. Simple as that, simple as that. I'm going to get rid of these print statements from earlier, because we don't need those anymore. And now every time we collide, it should spawn. Yep, there we go. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. It's spawning a little too high, so perhaps instead of transform.position, we want to make a new vector 3 for it. Vector 3, which holds 3 positions, x, y, and z. And we're going to do the first one, be position.x of the object we're currently on, which is transform.position.x, and then we're going to want the transform.position.y minus a certain amount. And I don't actually know that amount. I'm just going to say it's 2 units, just for starters, and we can playtest this number and see what it actually is. Transform.position.z of the same one we already did. That's fine. I'm going to assume it's 2 units. I have no idea, but we'll just see once this is actually in. This is what's called a magic number. Oh yeah, 2 units is way too much. This is what's called a magic number, and you want to eliminate these as much as possible. So I'm actually going to make a float, and the float, I'll put it right next to this, and the float is public int particle displacement. I'm calling it this so I know it's related to bump particle in some way. And in here I'm going to replace the 2 with the particle displacement. So whatever I set as particle displacement will be in there. And actually I don't want it to be an integer, because I want to... Yeah, that was dumb. I don't know why I did that. Change that to a float real quick. Doesn't matter which one it is, but if you're trying to do exact numbers, you should use a float. Like if I want to do like 0.5, use a float. Can't do that with an integer. So we'll do 0.5. Which I think was the radius of our player, which makes a lot of sense actually to use that instead. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Satisfying. Yeah. That looks pretty decent. I'll try lowering it a little bit. Let's see that. I think the radius is, yeah, the radius is 0.5. So I think that should be the same amount of units below what it was. Oops, 75, that's what I meant. Boom, right on the impact. That's pretty decent. I'm not saying it's all the way there, but it's definitely not bad. And you can see down here in the hierarchy, when I jump, it's creating them and deleting them on the bottom left there. So nothing is lingering in our scene, and we're still getting good, some cool particle effects, which is pretty cool. If you're curious of how I did the, how I did the background here, this is actually a trick from Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog used to do this trick. So to make it appear that Sonic was going very fast, is that they made the background and the floor that the player actually walks on move at different paces, so it actually shows like the distance traveled, versus like in other old retro games they just have a very stagnant, so the background and the ground you're moving on move in the same plane. This is a form of parallaxing. This isn't very good parallaxing, There's a lot better forms of parallaxing that you could use that are more interesting than this. This is just kind of a basic, super basic version of it. You can do some parallaxing that is dependent on the camera if you have camera movement, but there's no camera movement in this, so this will do fine. Plus, I kind of like it. I think it fits this game pretty well. We got our jumping going on here. We're jumping really high though. I don't know if I want to jump that high. If we hold that jump button down too, we're getting a big boost on this. I don't know if I want all that. So we'll go back to our jump speed. I'm actually going to change it in here. 0 to 5 is a better ratio. It's more accurate. We'll wait for this to actually load up real quick. Yeah, 0 to 5. Now I can actually get some more specific numbers here on the right that I can mess with as we play. Oh, that's really interesting. It seems like we're jumping higher after each bounce. If you hold it, it's got a higher bounce to it than if you're just tapping it. I think most players would probably tap, if I'm being completely honest. I think they'd probably tap. It's like, yeah, you could hold it and go higher, but it doesn't feel very good from a UX perspective. I could also make the actual objects that the player will encounter not that tall. It's also a possibility, because I haven't actually made any objects, which we should do here in a second. Here's the background I drew up. Let's see. I'm not quite sure. I don't really entirely remember the ratio of things, but that won't be crazy important. All I really need is a traffic cone. I want some orangish yellow. That's an okay color. I'm not crazy about it. It's just a traffic cone. Here, let's do some better stages than that. Let's do this. Yeah, that's better. I can just already tell that's better. Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely better. Big time traffic cone. Big time traffic cone. And we got the stripes. I don't know, do traffic cones normally have like multiple stripes? I need a reference now. I have to look this up. Normally have like 2 stripes? Huh. I honestly don't pay attention enough to traffic cones. Might do 2 like this. And because this is an important object that I want the player to see, since it's dangerous to them, we're going to give it a basic outline like that. This just helps players. This is a technique that you should do to help your players understand what they're seeing and what they're looking at, because this strikes out a lot more than what just faded into the background there, which is good. That's what you want. So, traffic cone. Dope. Now let's go back to our game. We got our traffic cone in here. Let's see here. Got our traffic cone. Let's see how it looks in the scene. So we're going to drag it in. It's super small. The reason for this is because our pixels per unit. So if we set up our pixels per unit as 16, it'll change it to 1 unit like that, which is good. And you can see by the quality this looks really terrible. We can fix that by going into our filter mode and make it a point filter. You could also change the compression quality, which it looks like it is being compressed heavily. I think it's probably due to the size of it. Another thing you can do is that if it's a 16 by 16 image, you can just add a 0 at the end and maintain its pixel ratio and everything like that. And yes, it will blow it up in here because the pixels per unit is now a lie, which you need to change the pixels per unit to 160 instead of 16. So it's the actual size. So now it's the same size, and we're getting good quality. We're getting the same quality, which is good. Yeah. Let's see how that plays against the background there. It's not terrible. It could be better. It could be better. It's kind of blending in with the bridge here, but for now, that's honestly fine. I'm not crazy worried about that. So that's okay. Yeah, what we're gonna need now is we're gonna need a polygon collider. Some people don't like using these. They're very inefficient, but doesn't matter. Gets the job done. Should throw that in there real quick. We're gonna make this a little more. What I like about the polygon colliders is you can actually draw them here. You can draw these little lines, and these lines will help you out a lot, because you don't want your player. This is where the player will actually be colliding with the thing, and you don't want your player to collide. You know, it's better to be like super close. Like if the player like goes right here where I'm hovering over right now, it's like it's not gonna kill them. But if they go in this much, it will. And stuff like that makes a big like difficulty difference for players, because they can't see these lines when they're playing, and it's something you need to understand as a designer, is that they can't actually see these lines. So it's better to bring them in more, so it's kind of harder for them to get hit by it, so it's a little more fair. Because if they get hit by like this edge of it, it's gonna seem like bullshit, and they're not gonna. That's not good UX. It's not good user experience right there. It'd probably piss people off. Oh, my cat is having a hairball right now. Poor cat. There's your body 2D. 0 gravity. We don't need gravity for this guy. And then this will be a trigger. A lot of polygon colliders in your scene could lag it up. Could make it really laggy. But if you only have like a couple at a time, it's trivial. It's not a big deal. And because of how we wrote our previous script here, which was our destroy after X seconds, we can actually use it for this as well and make sure that after 10 seconds that this traffic cone is deleted. And essentially what we're doing with this is we're using another script too, which is the move slowly script, which is just a move speed attached to this traffic cone. Should make it so this traffic cone goes through. I'm going to change the range of this move slowly because it moves a little too slow. We'll do a range of like -5 and 5. Just a better range. But I actually use this same script to move the background as well. So, multi-purpose. You get more use out of your game here. So we'll tell it to move 3. Not sure how fast that is. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, that's super. That's absolutely super. That's pretty good. We have a spawner script in here. We have one, which we'll save as our traffic cone. We'll put that in the prefabs because our traffic cone is good to go. It's got the triggers and everything. It's good. It's in there. Traffic cone. Boom. Traffic cone is in there. Spawn intervals of like 1. I don't know how fast that is actually, because I haven't made this script in a long time. Let's see how many traffic cones we make. That is a lot of traffic cones. This is a hell of a lot of traffic cones. The other thing too is that we will need to make the traffic cones the same speed as the ground, because right now we're ruining the illusion. Yeah, we're ruining the illusion big time. However, this is a lot easier. Oh yeah, okay. So I think the intervals is how often they spawn. We're just gonna make that 5 for now. Every 5 seconds or so, we'll spawn a traffic cone. Seems fair. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There's a guy. You don't want a lot. I think we can add some other variation to this. We can add some stuff that'll hit you. Add more than just a traffic cone. So it's good about making your scripts multi-purpose, so you can reuse them everywhere and help yourself out in the future. Okay. Oh yeah, we need to make the background the same speed. So our scroll speed is 6, so let's make our traffic cone speed 6 as well. So -6. -6 for our traffic speed, our traffic cone. -6, and now it should stay with the background, hypothetically. Once it spawns. Yeah, it's not doing that. Maybe the background is a little faster. Anyways, you can just keep playing with that and change it, whatever. Change our spawn interval for a second, 1 every second. Oh no. Oh, that's why, because we have a cap. I can't make it -6. Do 15. -15 and 15. That's funny. So it actually might, my theory might have actually been correct. What if we make it like a negative? Yep, I was right. If you make them the same speed, then they actually move together. So we keep the illusion alive. Oof, this is super close. Nothing happens right now, which is what we need to take care of next. We'll make our spawn intervals 3 for now. Maybe 2.5. A little more active. Our fakey player. Yeah, we're gonna need to do that in here. So yeah, is dead is what we're gonna need. So in our conditional properties, we're gonna need public bool is dead. Is dead, and at the start of the game, it's going to equal false because we're alive. And at the end of the game, it'll be we'll be dead. Okay, so if is dead, if not is dead. So if we're alive, essentially, if we're alive, allow everything that we've already programmed to happen. Let that happen. Right. Now we're going to introduce another function on trigger enter 2D, and this one is different than on collision enter because it actually takes a collider 2D. Still calling it other just for the sake of naming, and this is going to be if other dot game object dot tag equals car, and we're going to put this tag on we're going to put this tag on our traffic cone. So essentially, if the thing holding the script, which is our player, trigger enters the traffic cone, which will be called, we'll tag it as car, we will not be able to jump. And to prove this theory, let's change our traffic cone. Oh, it's already there. I already did it. Put it into car. Now to prove that we can jump, let's jump for a bit. Boom, jumping over that. And then we're not going to jump over this one. And now we can't jump anymore. So my player is effectively dead. So is dead equals true, we can confirm. And if you look, is dead equals true. And if I set is dead equals not true, we can jump again. Yep, there we go. We can jump again. Boom. That's easy enough. Now we should probably do some other fun stuff. Since I'm no longer in school and we can mess with blood, let's make some blood particles. Basically, once something happens to the player, you need to give them some feedback with what's happening. So, easy thing we can do is add some blood particles. Just simple blood particles. And we'll have it loop. And essentially we'll just have this connected to the player. Start speed like 6, 2, lifetime. Lifetime's fine. Don't want to mess with anything like that. And we'll change our shape. Like a sphere is good. There's blood pouring everywhere. Maybe. There might be some. This one's kind of interesting. You could like rotate it upside down. Yeah, there we go. Rotate it upside down. That's gruesome. That's really gruesome. So it's in behind the player, which kind of looks bad. So let's put it in front of it. Let's do like 2. There we go. You put it in front of the player, it really shows like, oh shit, this is for real right now. I'm actually hurt. Boom. Order in layer. Let's change the particle size, because blood isn't that ridiculous. Let's make the speed super slow. So now it kind of looks like a blob. If you get rid of the speed, it's a big blob. We'll do 1.25. 0.25 looks good. Let's do start size, 0.25 as well. Oh, there you go. That looks like blood fall. This is really morbid. We'll do our color over lifetime again. Make this fade out like that. Boom, there we go. Now we're definitely getting there. And then another trick that I didn't do last time is that you can actually fade in as well. So you can do like that. Boom. So they're not just completely spawning out of nowhere. And we kind of want to make sure that it emits kind of from the body and not around the body. So we'll change our shape again. So they only emit in here where the body is because the player is hurt. Boom. Nice. That's okay. I'm fine with that. And we'll put this in our player and we'll call it blood. And then we'll deactivate it. And the reason we'll deactivate it is because we only want it activated when they're actually dead. This is going to be in our feedback properties. We'll do, I'll do it right here. Do public game object blood particle. Did the wrong game object again. I always do that. Okay. And then if we're dead, or etc. I guess on trigger end trigger also works. I guess you can just do it here too. We'll just do .set active true. So now this thing will set active once it's true. Yep, there we go. And we'll scroll down in here, and now we have our empty space for the blood particle, and boom, we'll find it right there. And now, hypothetically, if we wait to die here, boom, we're bleeding. Feedback, y'all. Feedback. Okay. So we got that. The other thing we could do too is that if we add, if you want to add a sound effect, we can just do that right here as well. We can just add an audio source. And just right here. Make sure it plays on awake and doesn't loop, and then I actually don't have any audio assets in this project. Huh. Anyways, well, if we put an audio clip here, just any audio file like a WAV or MP3, then it'll automatically play that once we die. It's very morbid. It's turned very morbid very fast. Okay. It's been a pretty productive session so far. Maybe like an hour or so into this. Alright, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. What's next? What should we do? We should, oh yeah, we should definitely stop the backgrounds. Stop the backgrounds from going. So we could do scroll speed. So we need access to these repeating behaviors. So we need access to this script. And this is public, that's good. So what we need is public repeating behavior RB or REPB repba repba, or I might even just steal this rep behavior just so we know what we're talking about. And I think we can do an array of these. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make an array of these. And then if we're dead, if is dead, if is dead, then for everything in rep behavior. I actually want to put this in the trigger, because if I put it in update, it'll run all the time, and it'll run through that for loop a bunch of times, whereas on the trigger, it won't run as often. I'll explain that in a second, once I finish writing it. So we'll do for int I equals 0, and we'll do a for loop, which will essentially run through the size of our array. And we'll do that by creating I, in this instance, as 0, and then I is less than rep behavior, I think it's dot length. Yeah, dot length. And then this is how many times it'll run through the loop, and it's essentially as many times till it's till I is greater or equal to the size of rep behavior. And then we'll do I plus plus, which continues it, adds it at the end. Cool. Okay. And then once we're in here, we'll do rep behavior dot game object. Oh no, I can't do that. Oh, I was hoping. Oh no, wait. Yes, I can. I don't know what I was thinking. My bad. Rep behavior dot speed. Wherever our speed is. Rep behavior dot scroll speed. Scroll speed. Need that. Struggling to find this. Okay, equals 0. Oh, that's why. Oh, duh. I need to put up the arrays because it's an array. But yeah, and then scroll speed. Yep, it autofills. Cool. Simple mistake. Yep, so that works how that intended. Got rep behavior I dot scroll speed equals 0. And now in our player, we need to set those up. We need to find them. So we need to find all of our reps, and there's 2. There's 2 in the scene, there's 1, and then there's the other. Very simple, very, very simple. And now, if we get hit by a traffic cone, it stops. We stop moving. The traffic cones keep spawning though. We need to stop the traffic cones. We definitely need to stop the traffic cones. And we might want a way to actually keep track of all the traffic cones that are in a scene. Not sure how we wanted to handle that, but we can totally do that. Yeah. It might be something I might do later, but for traffic cone, we're going to need a reference to our spawner, and we're going to set our spawn interval to 0, so we actually stop spawning after the fact. We stop spawning traffic cones. Actually, I'm not sure. If I set spawn intervals equal to 0, does that mean they just spawn constantly? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, maybe we'll just set that to like 1 million or something. Something that you'll never sit there for 1,000,000 seconds to see another traffic cone come in. Easy, easy fix. Easy fix. Okay, so we'll need that in our player. So right next to this, we'll have public spawner spooner. do spawner like that. We can just do spawner, lowercase spawner, and then in our trigger again, spawner dot what was it? Spawn intervals. There we go. Spawn intervals equals a ridiculous number. Just you're not gonna sit there for that many seconds. It'll game over. And since we created that, we have to set that up again, which we'll find here in our main camera. And boom. Now, hypothetically, if we hit this traffic cone, it shouldn't spawn anymore. And that is correct. We are not spawning anymore. Unless you wait 1,000 seconds. But yeah. That'll do that. And I could always do, I could try this. This is, I don't know if this will work. This is actually just me going off on a limb right now. There are no objects left to destroy. And what I'm doing here, this is a try-catch method, which is essentially that if I'm not sure that I can do something, I can attempt to do it anyways. So we'll do game object temp equals game object dot find objects, and I think I might actually have to do this. I don't know if I'll have to do this as an array, or have to do dot find game objects. Find game object dot find object. Oh yeah, I can't. I guess I have to do it with the. I guess it'll just keep doing it. This might be something I want to try in an update. Find object with tag. So that returns an array of game objects. Huh. I'm curious why that didn't work then. We'll do car. So anything tagged with car, and we'll do destroy temp.gameObject. And then this will just print out there's no more left to destroy. So on the initial one we'll do destroy other.gameObject. And then I'm gonna move all this into a function because that's just better. And we'll call this function public void death. Because we're continuing our trend of morbidness today. So we'll do this, and we'll make. No, I don't think we'll do that actually. We'll just keep it like this. Yeah. We'll do destroy this object, but then also call the death function. Call the death function. Oh gosh. Call our death function. Let's just see if this works real quick. Sure, I didn't make anything. Yeah, okay. And we'll just see. So, traffic cone is being made. Boom. It actually didn't find that other traffic cone. Oh, I guess it found it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying when I need to make this try catch in another method. So I actually need to do that here. If is dead. Yeah, I can't actually do it in there. The reason I can't actually do it in there is because this is only called once you collide with the car, with the traffic cone. That's called car, because I'm an idiot. So to make sure that we don't fuck with that, we do this. Let's see how that works. Boom, we're dead. And there's no more. Yeah, there's no more traffic cones. Nice. Okay. Cool. That actually worked really well. Now we have no more traffic cones, no more spawns. Road stops. I need to stop the other background too. That's right. Okay. Yeah, the other background needs to stop moving. So we need to get a reference to our city landscape. So We'll do feedback properties, public, move slowly, city landscape, and then we'll add this to our depth function. We'll do city landscape dot move speed equals 0. Really simple. City landscape equals 0. Let's check this out. Jumping around. See if we can jump that. Nice. Boom. Got hit. And he's down, and our landscape stopped. We're good. We're good to go. We got everything, actually. Sick. Sick as fuck. That's pretty dope. I got a lot done here so far. It's pretty good. Pretty good so far. Really just need to add more feedback, like some sounds and stuff, and we're probably good to go on this game. Add some death sounds. Definitely need to add a jump sound. Gotta do all this. Let's see here. I might actually change this to a get access system, which I need to pull up my notes for it, but I did something similar before, which might actually help us with our jumping. Yeah, I'm gonna do a get access instead, and the access is essentially going to allow us to check to make sure the button is held down to a certain point. So if it's over halfway, I consider it a jump. So we're gonna do it that way, and I think I need to set up my axis. Not sure. No, I don't. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I don't need to set up my axis. I do need to jump a lot higher for initial jumps. And I might just need to reduce some of my bounce. Make my bounciness kind of smaller because it's really high up right now. Yeah, and the bounciness was what was making us jump higher. So now I think we can actually safely increase our jump speed. And let's just play around with that for a second. I want our initial jump to be decently high. So let's check out a 4. Let's see what a 4 looks like. Yeah, that's not quite enough. Like the 5 there, it's not quite enough now that I've changed it to this match. I think the 5 might be good, yeah. The 5 is really good. And now we've kind of got the chain jump going on. Oh yeah, that feels really constricting. And the bounce actually kind of adds some tension, which I really like. Because if you jump just when you're in air, it's not going to cut it. You're going to have to time your jumps here. Boom. Yeah, I enjoy that. That's pretty good. I'm going to make the bounce a little less, though. Even more. Just more subtle. And, yeah. And I think I'm going to make the particle a little more subtle, too. Which, some would argue doesn't help for your feedback, but I'm just going to make it a little more subtle, because I think that's appropriate. I think that's fine. Because I think if our bounce is a little more subtle than our... that should all be more subtle as well. Let's delete some of these keyframes here. It's okay. I'm not crazy about it. Maybe a little darker. Might help. Whoa. I like the bounce, but since it's a little smaller, I might... Yeah... I might consider getting rid of this. I just might, because... It's honestly a little much. Oh yeah, that's sick. I do enjoy this. That's super dope. We can do animations and stuff later. Cool. I'm pretty happy with where this is at so far. I think now we need more feedback, like a game over screen. Just what our canvas will be here for. And we'll just add some text to our canvas. Or do I have my Haribera font in here? I don't believe I do. I'll install that later then. Anyways, we'll do our UI image. We'll do 150 opacity. That's pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll do... Should do red text. Just a little bit of red. A little bit of red. Do red, we'll have it pop up. This is a rec transform, which actually helps us place everything on the canvas well, so that if we're resizing and things like that, nothing is getting lost, which is very helpful. It's very nice, actually. Recommend doing that. Also, I recommend scale with your screen's size or with your camera, therefore you're not making a bunch of UI that goes away. See how this is like always staying there? It's always the same height, the same amount. I never lose it. Which is good. Let's do 200. No. Let's do 400. Yeah, big banner. You want a big banner, and then we'll add some text to this, some white text. White text. Boom, it's already pretty center. And it actually, the transform will actually set it so that it anchors to the thing it's parented or childed to. It's like the parent is the game over image here. So it'll actually set it to that, so it's inside of that perfectly, which is helpful. And let's mess with our font size here. It's just a bigger font. Yeah, that's what's up. Like game over, man. You want it to be game over. Gotta be big text. And then the other thing that we can do that's helpful is we'll add another image as well. This will help. So it's just a very subtle thing, but it's super helpful. We'll add another image, and we'll actually add this into the game over as well. And this image will be just a transparent kind of grayscale. This will go across the whole thing like this. Boom. And then I do want to make sure that this has some priority over this. So I'm not sure if, yeah, separating them does help. Or separating doesn't help. I think separating does help, yeah. So, because we want this one, we want the big red one to be on top or over. So it's actually just their position there in the hierarchy that affects it, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. Yep, that is correct. Okay. And then the kind of darker we can make this banner, like the darker we can make this banner, the more, you know, the difference you can kind of tell off of that. It's just a subtle thing, but it kind of helps with like, oh, the game state is over. Like, no more. Don't do anything else. Like, you can't do anything else. So do not do anything else. Like that kind of fades out the scene there. And yeah. The other thing, we want to add the mothership logo to our canvas. So we're going to add another UI image, I believe. Except this time, it's going to be our mothership logo. Which is right here. Yep, that's the logo we want. We can get rid of the other one. And then we always want this bottom right, you know, front and center. Always got to have it. And boom. That is our game over. And we're going to put these guys into their own game over collective. That's what I'll call it. And we'll go ahead and move these in there. Which, move it above that so we know mothership logo, just so we know where everything is. And then we'll actually disable the game over collective because we're playing. And then, you already guessed it, we're going to add it to our feedback properties. We'll do public game object UI collective. Except UI, I think we're going to do game over UI. That's simpler. That's a lot simpler. I can remember that. And it's the exact same as our death, you know, with all the other stuff. Game over.ui to set active true, just like blood particle. Blah. Excuse me. Game over.ui to set active true. And we'll scroll down. Game over UI. Find it right here. Drag it over. Boom. And now we wait to die. Once we die, game over. And the blood pours in. Super cinematic. Yeah. Now it's basically it. We've created a game from scratch in Unity. Made an infinite runner. Oh gosh, that was a super jump. I'll fix that later. Anyways. Yeah, I think that's gonna sum up the stream here. I'm pretty much done here. I don't have much else to do. I figure out how to shut off the stream here, and we'll call it a night. If I think of anything else, actually, I might want to do before I do that. Let's see here. Definitely save your work and push. I should comment before it closes out. Always need to comment your code. If you don't comment your code, you're just asking for it later. Like, if you don't know what things are, like, it's just gonna destroy you. If the player is alive, just so I know. I'm actually gonna do start if player is alive. And then I'm gonna do the opposite down here just to help readability. End if the player is alive. This just helps. This is just a super useful technique if you're like scrolling through and you're like, oh man, I don't know where, like, you know, you can just control F, like start, you know. I can find, oh, okay. Like these are the starts of things, and I can skip through them if you like always start like with this kind of format. So I could do the same here. I can just be like start if the player is dead, and then obviously the same here. End if the player is dead. Another super helpful thing is that if you're on a function, say like on trigger, or just say death, and I hit the question mark 3 times, it'll actually make a pre-description for it. It doesn't understand what this is, so it just says death this instance, which is actually fairly decently telling of what this function actually is. But you can use kind of a similar summary function to, or different naming conventions, so you can just help search through your code a lot easier. I highly recommend you doing this for your own code, because I get lost so often in my own code, so it could definitely suck, for sure. But yeah.